I set foot outside this morning and it's humid and it's sticky and it's hot and it feels like summer. I want it to feel cool and refreshing, and it's really not. I have this guy at my feet. That's where he always is in the morning. You ready for your food, bud? You being so patient. Good morning. Let's get you your food. I don't like to make Tux wait. Somebody's got to be first and second. And poor Panther and Gray, they're third. Come on, bud. Come on, Tux. Let's go. Yeah, if I were you, Stripe, I wouldn't get in the middle of him coming to his food. Oh, goodness. There you are, buddy. Phew. Yeah, I don't like working up a sweat doing not much except for coming out and putting food down for the cats. Panther came back around 5 p.m. yesterday. I called for him and he came from the ferns around the maple tree. I had been down there and looked for him a couple times and didn't see him. He seems no worse for wear, but that behavior is he had a fight and he's sleeping it off. Anyway, Don's pulling Jules out. I'm doing what I always do, coming and going from the house. I'm seeing kitties. Tux has been doing a lot of sleeping on the back step, under the bench, near the bench, the shady part of the backyard. He's such a good boy. I come out and he talks to me. Yeah, he's such a good boy. I don't see Marty right now, and that's a little unusual. There he is. I did call him and he came. Good boy. See, I wasn't far, Mom. I wasn't far at all. Good boy. I got my fountain running yesterday. Pleased about that. I used a hairband, a ponytail holder to keep the hose in place. Despite the heat, it's a holiday, and look at all the people out for a walk today. Did you start your watch?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm good.
Don set climate on and he bumped it up to 80, and then he opened the door and it set it back to 72. We both want a default setting for climate on or dog mode or whatever you like to leave your car at. We usually push ours up to 80. And it's just, you end up having to sometimes in some situations adjust the temperature, and it would just be better if we could just set a default for climate on. We just set it to 80 and we set climate on and we get out, and then we got back in, put the foot on the brake, it'd go back to the 70 or 72 we had it on before we exited. It would just make the feature less frustrating. We've passed a few people, not tons. We've got a little shade, brief respite from the sun, and sun in and out. Serenaded by birds, that's a plus. So here's a view of the houses from right over near them, and I wonder if these people have any idea how close they are to the water, which means how close they are to the snakes. I doubt they have a clue. Hey, Mr. Muscovy, what you doing over here all by your lonesome? He had water, he just come out of the water hole, the retention pond. But I don't see a buddy. I did see Orange Kitty yesterday. He was inside the blue trash can privacy fence there on the ground on the cement. Kind of surprised me that's where he was hanging out. But he likes this side of, he or she likes this side of the house, Marty's twin. See if I can just see his body. Oh yeah. He's up underneath there today in between the trash cans too. It's safe, very defensible. Nobody noticed him there. It just seemed like it would be hot. My guys prefer to lay in the shade in the grass. Well, as Don walks toward the manhole cover, sewer cover turnaround point, we're gonna mention that we consider that today marks 1 year of walking. Yeah, 1 year of walking. I say we only missed maybe 20 days max, and of those 20, we probably only missed 10 days of actual exercise. Yeah. So we're feeling quite accomplished. Like we really stuck with it. Pleased about that. I'm just gonna look at the wildflowers over here. Yeah, you don't want to stand around in the sun too much today. You want to walk back to the shade. So Don was going to mention a few things today, but it's so hot out there. There wasn't a good shady spot. We just didn't get to it on the actual walk. So yeah. I thought while we were sitting in here with our Elon and Starman sunshades still up and the air conditioning on us, and
yeah,
I'd let him talk in the car, sitting down, resting after some cold water.
Yeah, I took a couple swigs. Yeah, so the paper had a couple things. Before my trip to Florida, Duke presented to maybe it was both the Utilities Commission, North Carolina Utilities Commission, or the Department of Environmental Quality, one or both of those, I forget which one of the state agencies, several plans to achieve the state's goal of reducing 80% of the CO2 by from what 2005 levels, drop it down 80% from that by 2035, and you know, I don't know, maybe 100% by 2050. And I don't mean to sound so confused. What I was really trying to get at is that Duke didn't present a process. They presented several proposals that different mixes of renewables and nuclear and other things, the kind of a smorgasbord of things that depending on if you want this by this date and if you want that by that date, you know, they presented, you know, here's some things we could do. And one of the things, part of that was they mentioned, because the paper didn't go into any great detail, was that one of the things is everybody is going to have to go on time of use, which of course Marianne and I are, because we're have an electric charge, and we take advantage of off peak charging of car off peak rates to charge our cars. So that's what drove us. But they're saying, Duke, one of the things is it was common was that everybody's going to have to go to time of use. All right, so now let's fast forward to today's paper. Actually, there was an article in there where Duke proposed rooftop solar changes to the rooftop solar which basically puts them on time of use and also gets rid of net metering, so that they are going to get people with rooftop solar are going to get paid whatever Duke says is a good rate for whatever period of time Duke says. In other words, there is no net meter where they basically get the same that they get charged. It's probably complicated. The paper didn't get into it, but the whole point is that Duke wants to do away with the traditional net metering. And the solar installers, the people who install rooftop solar, said, look, you can't do that because it makes it almost impossible for us to tell our customers or potential customers what their savings are going to be, because, you know, the payback is so dynamic. You know, we're not going to be able to tell them what to do, and that makes the hard justification. So they proposed some kind of a bridge deal where up between now and 2026, because this was supposed to kick in January 1st of 23. So basically there's a bridge thing that the solar installers, the Utilities Commission, and Duke all kind of got together, and apparently it's going to go forward there that they're going to delay certain aspects, one of which is the time of use for solar customers and the complete elimination of the net metering and the minimum bill. Duke wants a minimum bill, but they are going to continue to negotiate what the cost of the how much a solar customer should pay for grid access. In other words, the access fee to the grid, how much that's going to be. So there's some things that have yet to be determined, but Duke, at least I thought, was the article. I told Marianne, in fact, I couldn't tell. A lot of times with the articles, I can tell they're either highly slanted pro-Duke or anti-Duke. That this one was seen to be treading the middle, down the middle. I wouldn't say it was trying to just report it, and of course it keeps throwing out percentages of this and percentages of that, and it makes it hard to follow, because they switch between percentages and dollars a lot. But Duke did say that there are 30,000 rooftop customers in North Carolina right now, and that was a piece of information I had not heard. So to speed this whole thing up, it gets me back to something that Jack Ricard had said. Gentleman, I had a lot of respect for him. He said that you got to get off of this selling your electricity, excess electricity, to the grid. You got to stop using the grid as your battery. You got to stop all that. If you're going to go solar, you need to do what Jack's term was, selfish solar, and that's basically where you use all your solar, and what you can't use, you put in a battery, and you get a big battery. We don't talk about these little 14 kilowatt power walls. We're talking 100 kilowatt battery packs, stuff that you could run your house for a day or two. And then in the event that you don't, the sun doesn't shine for a couple days and your battery gets low, fire up a propane generator, or maybe at that point the only connection to the grid you have is just a battery charger that charges your battery back up, that you do not power your house from the grid. You just get off of that rat race with the power company, because you need to control your own energy, because there is nothing Duke's ever going to do that's going to help you with your energy needs. Everything that Duke does is for their benefit, or you could say the stockholders' benefit, or the community, the benefit of humanity. But if you're worrying about yourself, all this money that you're spending, and they're not doing anything to help you out. So if you want control, selfish solar, and I agree with that.
Here comes a Model X midnight silver metallic with the bike rack on the back.
Yeah.
Hi, pretty Model X. That some of these, sorry, I got all distracted by the pretty Tesla.
It's the new one. It's
well, that's what I was gonna say. I gotta look. Does it say plaid on? Oh, it's a plaid. It sure is. We might have to go talk to this person. Can you see it? It does. It has a little plaid emblem, and it's not a North Carolina plate. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. We're gonna go see. He offered to let us come over and take a look, but we've seen plaid S and X, and our friend Andy has that exact X. Yeah, white with midnight silver metallic. Yeah, so. But we chatted for. I told him mine was 5 years old and 100,000, and he said, "It's done you good." And I said, "You couldn't pry it away from me. There's no way. I love that car." Yeah,
that's right.
So yes, the wife said it was a little crazy. I guess she's getting used to. It's probably their first Tesla, and she's getting used to the insane speed. Yeah, the get up and go. Right. But anyway,
good.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he knocked over our...
Yeah, it was a car chase.
Huh. That didn't end too well for him. It never does. Yeah. This is the town of Fuquay's Flags for Heroes display. Put on by the Rotary Club and sponsored by several local business. Don's fixed a couple of solar lights that fell over. In memory of John D. Wolfser. In memory of Judge Edward H. McCormick. This one is unsponsored. In memory of Jason York. In memory of Dwight Frazier. Now, all these flags, they have a family and a name and a story. This is called a leveler.
Yeah, something.
You threw that together real nice.
Yeah,
Couple of minutes.
It's pressure treated and it's got deck screws, so it'll last a couple, 3, 5 years, 10 years.
I decided to put one of the maples over here, just off the driveway. I cleaned up in there a little bit, and I've got the first maple tree planted. You know, all that stuff in the pots to keep the cats from hurting the tree, or the squirrels from digging it out, or any of that other stuff. I just been waiting to put these things in the pot. All right, Blonde Beauty is planted. You can see the leveling stand that Don made down there. I'm pleased with how it turned out, and I've got my fairy garden stuff over here, plus some hosta that I had in a bucket over here waiting to be planted. There's one more hosta, I think. Yeah, and some liriope if I wanted to put it someplace. That's been sitting there a long time. You can't have Memorial Day without a hamburger.
That's right.
And might have made a pina colada this afternoon, which was yummy. And we've got watermelon. We've got watermelon.